YouTube, Dr. Evette here, and welcome back to my channel. Okay, as you know, I have a vegetable garden and I have lots of tomatoes that have grown on it. So today's video is going to be me taking my tomatoes and making a tomato sauce for my vegan spaghetti. Not vegan, vegetarian, because I am going to use butter to saute my onions. If this is something that interests you, stay tuned. Okay, the first step in this process was to, of course, wash the tomatoes very good and to take the core, which is not the complete core, but just the top part, which is where the stem was attached. Take that out, and then to slice the back of the tomato in a X, like I just did, so that when you put them in the hot water for 2 to 3 minutes, it makes it easier to pull the skin off. And so I've done all of these here. It's got a few more to go, but I'm not gonna bore you with that process. But this is me cutting off the back part of the core where the stem was attached, discarding all the trash, and then cutting an X in the top, so that when I pour the hot water on, it'll make it very easy to peel off. I don't know why I decided to have a white t-shirt on the day that I am making spaghetti sauce. Not so smart, but I'm gonna do the best I can to not get anything on it. Better yet, I am gonna go put on my custom apron that my daughter bought me for my birthday some years ago so that I don't get any tomato sauce on it. I'll be right back. Okay, I've transferred the onion and the red pepper to my nonstick pan. I'm gonna put in some butter so that it has some flavor. And I'm gonna put in garlic powder, not fresh cloves of garlic because I don't really care for garlic, but a little bit of garlic powder and salt and pepper. Sorry. And then while this cooks down, I'm going to drop my tomatoes into this boiling hot water for 2 to 3 minutes so that it makes it easy to peel, and then we'll get back to it. But there's my onion and red bell pepper ready to be sauteed. Garlic. Dropping the tomatoes in for 2 to 3 minutes to make them easy to peel. Okay, so let's turn the boiling water off. It's been here a little past 2 to 3 minutes. We're gonna dump the tomatoes in a strainer. cool for a minute so that we can peel the skin off the tomatoes. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay, I've let the tomatoes cool a little bit, and ooh, that was easy. Oh, for the skin to peel off. Wow, look at that. Yeah. And after you peel the tomato skin off, the next step is to cut the tomatoes finely and then place them inside the pot to get them to cook down. Skinning the tomatoes is pretty easy. What I'm noticing is that it's a little harder at the base where I cut the core out. It's a little harder right there, but I've got to be careful. This is probably not a job for you if you have a white countertop like I do, because if you leave tomato juice or ketchup or anything like that on your countertop for any length of time, it can stain it. It'll get down in the veins of the countertop. So if you have a white countertop, consider putting something down before you start this process like I did. I think it's gonna be okay because I'm a type A and I try my best not to make a mess, but oh, that rhymes. I try my best not to make a mess, right? Okay, so we got those all peeled. Get my hands clean. I got a little tomato juice back there from my hands, but you know, clean my hands because I don't want to work with tomatoes and they not be clean again. Just chop to get them. Now this step, they said you can core it, meaning take the tomato seeds out. I'm not gonna do that because that's probably for the advanced people, and you'll lose a lot of the tomato when you do that. I think that these could have cooked in the water a little bit longer, but because I know I'm gonna cook them, I think it's okay. And what I mean by cooking the water a little bit longer, it would have made them softer. They are a little soft on the outside where you peeled off the skin, but you can tell it's a little bit tougher. It is creating a lot of juice, and I'm gonna attempt to get all this juice in the pan because that's the whole point, tomato sauce. It's looking like water though, but hit the floor. Yeah, not the task if you have white countertops. Unless you put down something, because this juice is trying its best to spill over onto the countertop. This is real life, real time. Now I've got to transition these to the pan. Actually, I'm gonna bring the pan with me. And it's warm on the bottom. So I didn't sit it down. After you cook it, put it in a food processor to make it more liquid. But I want mine chunky. So I'm gonna do what I can to smash it in the pan, but not put it in the food processor because I want it chunky. When you're vegetarian and there's no meat in your spaghetti and things like that, the chunkiness of the tomato gives you a fulfilling taste. Okay. I'm gonna turn the camera off because this is a mess. I'll be right back. Okay, I've got the tomatoes successfully transferred to the nonstick pan. I'm going back in with some garlic. With some coarse black pepper. Seems like a lot, but I love pepper in my food. It doesn't make things hot to me. And back in with some salt. And then when I get ready to cook this from the jar, I will add a little sugar to it, just so that it has the desired sweetness that me and my family like. I won't do that now. I'll wait till I'm ready to cook these spaghetti or the manicotti. I'll add a little sugar to it after I empty the jar. So I've already washed and cleaned the jars that I plan to use to can it. The way you do that is you just boil them in very hot water. And then once you take them from the hot water, just let them dry completely. So I've already done that process because I canned some peppers. And so the jars I'm going to use for this is already clean. So the tomatoes are breaking down really good for the sauce. When I look at this, this might be 2 good jars worth, just because of I'm looking at how much it's making, but we'll see. But I'm gonna let this continue to cook, not too much to where it thickens up a whole lot, but I do want it to be chunky and I do want it to create quite a bit of tomato juice. So I'll be back once I'm ready to transfer it to the jars. But let me show you the jars real quick. The typical mason jar. It's looking like that because it was closed up. Shouldn't have been closed up, but got a little flour on it. I think it's cute. Okay, I'll be back when I'm ready to transfer it to the jars. I've got the tomato sauce to the right consistency for me. So I'm just gonna turn the fire off and get them into the jar. I got the hot water boiling so that I can give them a water bath. The goal here is to try not to make such a mess while getting them in the jar. And then you wipe the rim of the jar with vinegar on a wet paper towel, just to keep the jar nice and clean. And so I'm gonna use my pineapple here as a balancer so I don't make a mess. I got my clean, sterilized jar. And here it goes. not thinking, because guess what? The jar is hot. It's probably only going to make 2 jars, but I'm okay with that. Grab my second jar. Looks like it would be great for some salsa. So it looks like it's only going to make 2 complete jars worth. Let's get the vinegar to wipe the rim, and we'll be right back. We got a wet paper towel here. Let's take the lid off this vinegar. See why that's necessary. Here is my clean lid. Now they said it's best if this part sticks. Make sure you got a good seal. At this point, I'm going to use some man muscle. I'll get my husband to come tighten it for me. Turn this on. That was about 9 tomatoes, made 2 jars. Where I said, ooh, gotta get that off. You got white countertops like me. You cannot let the tomato sauce sit. We've had the sauce in the hot water. Took it out, that's why it's still hot. Turn it upside down, which is supposed to help it seal. And then overnight, we will cover it up, lay it on the side to cover it up, and then it should be ready to go into the pantry the next morning. Thanks for watching.